Story of a Curious Mind. Albert Einstein was born on March 14th, 1879, in the quiet German city of Ulm. From an early age, it was clear that Albert was not like other children. He was slow to speak and often preferred to sit quietly, observing the world around him. His parents, Hermann and Pauline Einstein, were patient and supportive, even when teachers doubted their son's abilities. Little did they know that the quiet boy with curious eyes would one day change the way humanity understood the universe. A curious start. Albert's fascination with the world began when he was just 5 years old. His father showed him a small compass, and Albert was mesmerized by how the needle always pointed in the same direction, no matter how much he tilted or turned it. He couldn't understand why this happened, but the mystery sparked a deep curiosity in him. This curiosity became a guiding force in his life. As a child, Albert wasn't considered a standout student. He disliked the rigid teaching methods of his school in Munich, where memorization was more important than understanding. Albert wanted to ask questions and think deeply, but his teachers didn't appreciate his inquisitive nature. Despite this, he excelled in mathematics and physics, subjects that allowed him to explore his love for problem solving and discovery. Struggles and determination. When Albert was 15, his family moved to Italy for his father's business. Albert stayed behind to finish school, but he soon grew unhappy with the strict environment. He decided to leave school without a diploma and joined his family in Italy. Though this decision seemed reckless, Albert was determined to continue his education on his own terms. Albert applied to the Swiss Federal Polytechnic School in Zurich, hoping to study physics and mathematics. His application was rejected because he lacked a high school diploma, but the professors saw his potential and allowed him to enroll after he completed additional coursework. In 1896, Albert officially became a student at the Polytechnic. At the Polytechnic, Albert's rebellious nature and unconventional thinking continued to set him apart. While other students focused on following instructions, Albert spent hours pondering the mysteries of time, space, and light. He often skipped classes to study on his own, reading the works of great scientists like Isaac Newton and James Clerk Maxwell. A modest job and big ideas. After graduating in 1900, Albert struggled to find a teaching position. His independent spirit and bold ideas made it difficult for him to fit into traditional academic roles. Eventually, in 1902, he found a job as a clerk at the Swiss Patent Office in Bern. Though the job wasn't glamorous, it gave Albert the time and stability to think about the questions that fascinated him. While working at the patent office, Albert married Mileva Maric, a fellow student from the Polytechnic. Together, they had 2 sons, Hans Albert and Eduard. Despite the challenges of supporting a young family, Albert's mind was always busy with scientific ideas. Sharp, the Miracle Year. In 1905, at the age of 26, Albert published 4 groundbreaking papers in a scientific journal. This year became known as his Annus Mirabilis, or Miracle Year. Each paper tackled a different problem in physics, but together, they revolutionized the way scientists understood the universe. 1. The photoelectric effect. Albert proposed that light could behave both as a wave and as a particle. This idea was the foundation of quantum theory and earned him the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1921. Number 2. Brownian motion. Albert explained the random movement of tiny particles in a fluid, providing evidence for the existence of atoms. 3. Special theory of relativity. Albert introduced the concept that time and space are not absolute but are relative to the observer. This theory included his famous equation, E equals mc squared that, which showed the relationship between energy and mass. 4. Mass-energy equivalence. This paper extended the ideas of relativity, suggesting that a small amount of mass could be converted into a huge amount of energy, a concept that would later influence the development of nuclear energy. These papers established Albert as one of the most brilliant minds of his time. Scientists and mathematicians around the world began to take notice of the once overlooked patent clerk. A life of fame and responsibility. Albert's success brought him new opportunities. In 1909, he left the patent office to become a professor, and over the next few years, he taught at universities in Zurich, Prague, and Berlin. He became a member of the prestigious Prussian Academy of Sciences and continued to expand on his theories. In 1915, Albert completed his General Theory of Relativity, which explained how gravity works. He He proposed that massive objects, like the sun, bend the fabric of space and time, causing other objects to move along curved paths. This theory was confirmed in 1919 during a solar eclipse, when astronomers observed the bending of starlight around the sun. Albert became an international celebrity almost overnight. Though Albert enjoyed his fame, he remained humble and focused on his work. He used his influence to promote peace and understanding, especially during difficult times like World War I and World War II. He was a pacifist who believed in solving conflicts through dialogue rather than violence.